Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Anna. I'm a little bit spooky, and today we're doing a little bit of a twist on a fall look with the Berry Bold Lip. We're going berry cola with everything. We are pairing a subtle berry lip and taking it a little bit more vampy, and we're pairing it with a brown lip liner. We're keeping the eyes in a really more of a neutral pinky brown zone. Nothing too crazy, but we topped it off with some bold lashes just to amp up the glam factor. We're keeping things monochromatic a little bit here. Berry blush. We're all just berry vibes over here. Berry cola vibes. Mixing the brown and the berry tones. And yeah, there's so much variation and fun you could have with this look. And we talk all about that. And I'll show you what products I use to get this look. And it's stuff you probably might have in your collection. Nothing new used here. If that interests you, just go ahead and keep on watching. But before you do, don't forget to like and subscribe for more makeup looks, reviews, vlogs, weightlifting, chitter chatter, nonsense, just general nonsense over here. Go ahead and subscribe if that is something you're into. So without further ado, let's get into this Berry Cola Fall Monochromatic. How many more descriptive words can we use? Look. Alright, hello. Let's create a pretty little soft fall look today. Nothing too crazy on the eyes, more of a classic smoky eye. We're going to be focusing our colors into something in the pinky brown range. A little bit cooler, a little bit different off the beaten path as far as our choice in the brown shades. Now, if you don't have any pinky browns in your collection, just something neutral will work fine because the real star of the show is going to be the lips. I do have some lip balm on now. This is not the lip color we're going to be going with throughout the video. But when I was thinking about what eyeshadows I had that I felt like would complement this lip look without being too much or overpower or take away from the lip, because the lip is the star of the show. It's the Berry Cola lip. But, well, it's my twist. It's kind of my take on the cherry cola lip. We're going a little more berry with it. A little less red, a little bit more into the berry. But I was trying to think, what eyeshadows, aside from just some basic neutrals, could we use? And I thought about the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude palette because this one has these pinky toned browns in it that I think are just beautiful shades. This is one of my favorite palettes. And I thought it's just kind of perfect for this look. So we're going to create kind of a nice classic smoky eye with this, but very soft, subtle, nothing that's going to take away from the lip. Just something very contoured, pretty, but the shades, the undertones of the browns are going to have a bit of a pink lean to it. Huda does that very well in her eyeshadows. A lot of her browns tend to have a bit of pink in them. If that is something you're looking for, I would definitely go for like the Naughty Nude palette for sure. And I want to say the other nude palettes that she's come out with, like I think the original nude one, has those kind of pinky tones in it as well. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today on the eyes. And we're going to pair it up with a brown lip liner and a reddish berry lip and top it with a gorgeous berry gloss. And it's just going to be very, just kind of a perfect fall pairing that's a little bit not so on the nose fall, if that makes sense. I'm going to start with a blending brush, and we're going to go first into the shade called Hypnotic. And that's just going to be our basic shade to get things started here in the crease. I've already primed my eyes. I've got foundation on and some lip balm. That's why my lips have a bit of color to them, and the brows are done. So let's go ahead and just get on started here. And we're just going to throw that through the socket in a very contoured type of manner, focusing very much into that socket area, not so much into the actual crease of my eye, but right into that divot where the bone goes in. So it's a little bit higher than my natural crease would be when I relax my eye. And that can ensure that your eyeshadow still shows when the eye is relaxed, and it gives a little bit more the illusion of a less hooded look to the eye. We're going to kind of go for a little bit of a lifted feel, just something very classic and on brand for me. And it's up to you how intense you want to go on the eyes. I'm going to use a little bit of restraint. I don't have a lot of restraint, but we're going to use a little bit of it. trying to think of other palettes. Possibly the 90s palette, I think it's called, from Vive, or the Muse palette, perhaps. I feel like it might have the shades that would lend itself well to this. ColourPop might have something. But immediately, these are the colors that popped into my head because they just have a pink undertone to them while still being neutrally browns. You know? Are you picking up what I'm laying down? Am I making any sense? Okay, so we got Hypnotic tested on. I'm going to pull it kind of out towards the tail of the brow here with whatever's left on the brush, just letting it kind of fade out. Nothing too extreme there, just a slight kiss of contour. And then we're going to go over to the shade called Juicy. Yeah, we're going to take a little bit of Juicy and see how that goes. I'm torn between the shade Juicy and Rough. I'll have them both on the screen, which ones I'm talking about. We're going to take a bit of Juicy first. We're going to keep the eyes matte, by the way. We're not going to dip into any of the shimmers here. All right, we took that right there just a little bit. Yeah, it's a little more pink than I was aiming for. So I'm just putting a little tiny bit in there just for maybe a pinky glow. Because I don't want to go overtly pink. I just want that little bit of if you put a touch of red food coloring into something brown, right? How I'd picture a berry cola to look. Or how, in my head, the Dr. Pepper berry cream soda, I think is what it's called. Berries and cream. How I picture it should look. I think it's just brown, but it's kind of the color I want it to be. All right, we'll just let that kind of marry into Hypnotic. We're going to clean the brush off and we're going to go into Rough. Same brush. We're going to take that a little tighter into that socket. Wiggle it in there. And now we're starting to get a little depth in there. Just wiggle, wiggle. And then let that blend up and out into those other shades. Now we're getting some nice structure here. Now you don't have to go as intense on the eyes or the lip as I'm planning. But so that's up to your discretion there of just what you like. I'm a little bit dramatic with my eyes shut. My makeup is just kind of who I am. And I like to just play. This is definitely a look I would wear on a date night. Hands down, I think it would be beautiful for that. Thanksgiving, fall parties. Fall parties. Does that make sense? It's something I would wear for an evening out during this time of year. All right, now we're going to go back to Hypnotic just a little bit here because I forgot I wanted to brush a bit of that onto the lid just for a little color on the lid because we're not going to be putting an actual lid shade. This will be our lid shade. And you could totally stop here and have a beautiful eye look to go with the lip that I'm got in mind. And this would be a great stopping point. You don't have to go any further, but we're going there. So I'm going to jump to a small little brush for this next step. This is a Morphe 124. And I'm going to take the shade called Hard. Now Hard is a neutral, almost leaning cool brown. It's one of the swirly kind of creamy shades in the palette. But it's just a nice brown. It kind of has a slight reflect or sheen in the palette, but it's not really a shimmer. Basically works as just a skin-like matte, if anything. I'm going to take a bit of that right out here on the outer corner in a little wedge shape. And just let that kind of float up. And this is a little kind of flat paddle-y brush. Just going to do a little bit of a very soft blown out winged shape there. Very much diffused. The eye look is going to be a very diffused type of look. And this is going to bring in more of the brown and veer away from the pink. If you want to lean more into the burgundy of it all, you could take Naughty, Spicy, Untamed. There's 3 burgundies in this palette that are a little repetitive. Any one of those, depending on what tone you want to go for. But I feel like with the this vibe, this look I have planned, that brown is the way to go. A nice cola brown. Again, just blend it in that wedge shape and treat it like a very smoky liner. It kind of diffuse as it comes up and out. And again, same kind of thing on lid, letting it just diffuse as it comes in. And just keeping most of the pigmentation on the outermost part. Then we can go back to our blending brush and just do this little number, soften everything up, make sure there's a nice flow on the lid itself, and even into the socket, or into this outer corner. So everything is just kind of watercolor-esque. Alright, I'm going to grab just a touch more Hypnotic, just to kind of lay that down the lid, make sure everything is looking nice and soft. Soft, soft, soft. These are like very kind of blushy browns. That's what I like about them. They're very unique. It's one of the, I think, selling points of this palette is that these browns have that pink in them. It's not something I see on the market in many eyeshadows. Huda always has really nice kind of undertones to her matte shades. Like they're never quite what you think they're going to be. And I find them to always be like a pleasant surprise. Our brown called Hard. That's what she said. This palette is completely nothing but a that's what she said palette. That's probably what they should have named it. Michael Scott would have a field day. I miss the office. Do you know how often I get reels of just clips from The Office and I still laugh my ass off at them like it was the first time I'm seeing it? Basically just Michael Scott talking to the camera or Jim's pranks on Dwight. Classics, absolute classics. I'm going to grab a little liner brush now. Take that shade Hard on it. This is a little detail liner brush, M2500. I'm going to take that right, ooh, it tickled. Take that right into here on the inner part. Kind of want a nice elongated feel to the eye. Just very softly. Tickles. Ooh, it tickles. Yeah, I don't have to do this if you can't stand the tickly. Alright, and that's basically that. It's done. There we go. I mean, you could do this with pretty much any neutral if you wanted to. I just feel like the pinky browns just feel right. If you want to like really kind of wing it up, you can take a little Q-tip and just clean up that outer corner a bit. I haven't done my concealer yet, so it's a nice little trick to incorporate now, or you can clean up with your concealer. Whatever you'd like to do. That is up to you. I am not your boss. You could leave the lower lash line clean if you wanted to. I think that could look really nice. Or you could just take a little bit right along the lower lash line, wherever fits your vibe. I'm going to go ahead and do a bit of concealer, blend that out, and then move back in just a second to finish everything up. For concealer, I will be using the IRL Filter Finish Concealer from Makeup Revolution. All the products that I use will be listed and linked below. Majority are affiliate links. Lower lash line, I'm going to take that same little Morphe brush, M124. I'm going to grab a bit of the darkest brown shade we used, Hard, and just tuck it right super close. Let it join up to that liner. There's that outer corner and create that nice smoky wing shape. Another thing you could do with this look would be pretty is taking the Walk of the Pillow Talk eyeliner from Charlotte Tilbury. Would look pretty with this. If you wanted to really lean into the burgundy-ish side of things, you can just get that little blendy blend. I think that just makes my eyes look a lot bigger when I do that. So that's why I like to do that. And we'll take a little tiny blending brush. Again, from Morphe. I don't know what's up with all the Morphe brushes today. I don't like Morphe brushes necessarily. They just happen to have these really unique shapes that I need to get dupes of from better brands, because Morphe just kind of sucks. They're just shit. They're a garbage brand. It's like a little bit more rough, just to make sure everything is nice and kind of soft under here. Nothing's harsh. I want the eyes to be very soft. And yeah, I have just, yeah, there's some brands like you just don't have any respect for. Morphe's one of those. Like, I just think they make perpetually bad decisions and hitch their wagon to shitty people. And yeah, I think that can be true for influencers as well. Just like, you know, I just don't respect you. It's not that I dislike you, I just don't respect you. Because I don't think they respect themselves. I think they only care about money. So. It's just a thing. Alright. And that's basically the eyes done. The last thing I want to do to them is add a little bit of a lash and liner. And for the lashes, I believe I'm using Pompadour from Kiss. These are some I used the other day, and they are pre-cut and ready to go to fit my little eye shape. And for our eyeliner and lash glue in one, we're gonna go in with a brown one. I haven't opened this yet to try it, but I love the black one so much. I'm so impressed with it. I got high hopes for the brown because I love brown liner, especially brown liquid liner. So we're gonna give this a go. This is their liner and lash glue in one. I mean, the black one performs beautifully, so here's hoping that the brown one does as well. Like, it makes great liner, and it really does hold the lashes on, and you have to wait like 0 time for it to dry. It's very, very easy to use. So you just get a little shaky shake, and I'm gonna grab my little mirror so I can see what the heck I'm doing. I'm gonna make sure my lashes are ready to go. You just have to apply the liner really where you just want to put the lashes, but it doesn't stay like sticky feeling. So it really does well just to use as an eyeliner. 2-in-1. It goes on very smoothly. It doesn't look chunky or anything like some of these can do. I mean, unless you're like layering up a ton of it. But I'm just gonna really put this where I'm gonna place the lash. Right in that little root area of the lash line. And go ahead and just pop these little puppies on. And I've trimmed these down to where they're a little over a half lash situation, because that is what I prefer on my eye shape. Because I like that very lifted kind of look. And it looks a little weird until I put the mascara with it. Like, that kind of ties it together. Lash squeezy tool. And get that puppy right on there. And don't worry, we're gonna blend everything and make it look like they're real lashes. Sorta. You could wing this out further if you so desired. I just kind of let it taper off at the outer corner. You can kind of use this to disguise the lash band a bit if you need to. It does great. I'm gonna let that really get good and dry before I mess with anything else on the eyes and go in and add mascara or anything, because I don't want to lift anything up. So at this point, I'm just gonna kind of tidy my brows up, and we'll be right back. I'm gonna take a little bit brown eyeliner, just some regular old pencil liner. Any will work. I just like brown kind of complements the look, rather than going in with black. It's a bit harsh, and we are keeping things a little soft today. Tight line right in that upper area, and get that nice and blended. There's no fleshy bits peeping through. I'm going to take a little mascara, blend the lashes, and with the fake lashes, you could do your mascara first. It kind of doesn't matter. I'm just going to grab we're going to use Lash Princess today. So I found a tube of it. It was brand new in my drawer, and I wanted to revisit it, even though you're not really going to see much of it today. If I had some brown falsies, ooh, how pretty would that be? Doing a little bit on the lowers, just on the outer corner. I just want this look to be very lashy. I feel like that just fits the vibe. And see if there's anywhere we want to kind of intensify anything on the eyes. Perhaps a little touch more rough. It's just right out here. I always feel like once you get the lashes on, you can always tweak a little. And now, blush. Blush is another fun little aspect of this look. I pulled 2 berry blushes that I really enjoy. One is from Burt's Bees, and this is in the shade Velvet Wine, which is fine because the lip gloss we're going to use is also called Velvet Wine, but it's from a different brand. But yeah, very, very intense. This is one you kind of got to use a little restraint with, but it's such a beautiful color. If you're looking for a powder blush, the Burt's Bees blushes are probably the best thing from their line. Everything else, questionable. And the e.l.f. Putty Blush in Caribbean, which is just one of my favorites. If I'm going for a berry-ish blush, this is kind of it. So I'm going to put this on the cheeks. Very kind of a nice soft application, nothing too crazy. We're not going for cold girl makeup or anything like that. I wonder if that trend will come back this winter. And you could also alternatively take a very neutral blush with this and be pretty. I just feel like having this that's going to tie into lip, kind of where it's at. Light hand, when you're using like a berry shade, you don't want to go too hard if you're around my skin tone because it can overwhelm your face. These are usually pretty pigmented colors. I believe Danessa Myricks has a beautiful shade like this. I don't mind a little bit of that flush, like it's cold, but it's just nothing too crazy. I don't want to be super pink looking, which perhaps we are looking a little pink, but we haven't put any bronzer on either. And I think the bronzer will balance it out. You just take a little foundation brush or makeup sponge, powder, and kind of take it down. Make sure it's all nice and blended. And I'm going to kind of let that flow over into the eye just a little bit so it can tie into it somewhat. I think that'll be pretty. So they kind of flow together just a little. And again, light hand. I said it just gives it a little bit more of a finished feel. Or is that just me? It just kind of makes it look like they go together. Bronzer. I kind of forgot to put bronzer on. Patrick Ta. She's statuesque. And this will bring a little more of a toastiness in as well. Yeah, that definitely balances that out nicely. Yeah, I gave it a nice kind of balance to it to look pretty, very pretty. And we can do a touch of highlighter on the cheekbones. If you don't want to do highlighter, you don't have to. I'm thinking a highlighter with a kiss of pink in it would be nice, but not super cool either. Do I have anything in my collection that looks like that? Actually, I'm going to take the Hello Halo little duo here in Hotline Bling from Highlight Bling. It's a pun on the Drake song. And maybe we'll swirl into a little bit of both of these just so it doesn't get too overtly pearly cool. Get a little touch of warmth in there. They pair really nicely together and just graze the cheekbones. A champagne highlighter would look pretty with this. Something a little bit more gold in it. You know, again, all up to you, depending on your tastes and your skin tone, what you like. That is that. Now for the kind of the star of the show, I think, and that is the lips. I feel like the lips are really the star. So I'm going to take off my lip balm that I have on. The lip balm I'm wearing, why it's so pigmented, and would be a pretty option with this if you want something a little less vibrant, would be the Ride or Die lip balm and Cheeky Cherry from e.l.f. if you can find this anymore. I think they discontinued those. And another lipstick that I do believe is discontinued, but if you happen to have it in your collection, this from NYX in one of their little candy sticks. This is the shade Single Serving. I'm just going to swatch it real quick for you just so you can see what it looks like. But if you happen to have it, this would be a pretty color with this look. Just saying, it's like a nice stain type of formula. Really like it. I wish I had more of those, or if they were discontinued. I think they were just like a holiday relief. Now, for lip liner, the liner I chose to go with is not... Oh my goodness, did I lose it? Here it is. I decided to go with ABH Anastasia Beverly Hills Lip Liner in Cool Brown. This is nice kind of cola brown. And we're going to line the lips with this. Give it a nice little blend. So it has kind of a gradient look to it. And then we're going to top this with Walk of No Shame from Charlotte Tilbury. You could go with the lip liner as well if you want to further blend things. I did that the other day. Worked out great. I think we could get away with just using the lipstick. Yep, a correct assessment. And I picked Walk of No Shame because it is a subtle berry that I think just looked pretty and just kind of fit my idea I had in my head. There's that. You could leave it there and stop and be done. You could take a little bit more of your brown and amp that up. So you really have that nice contrast between the two shades. Now what I think what really adds a nice contrast is going in with this lip gloss next. And this is from Neutrogena. This is in the shade Velvet Wine. Just a beautiful, very kind of a sheer berry. It's not one of those super in-your-face fuchsia berries that I can't stand. This one's very soft, wearable, pretty color. And we're going to just top the lips with this. And look at that. Juicy. You could go with more of a reddish lip, and that would be more of a cherry look. It'd be so pretty. Very pretty. I like the concept of the berry cola for like this time of year. I think that's such a pretty lip combo with this eye look. Just everything flows together really nicely. Has a monochromatic feel, which I love. You know how I feel about my monochromatic looks. It is a thing. I truly enjoy them way too much. I'll give you 3 guesses what Lana Del Rey song is in my head right now. If you guess correctly in the comments, I'll tell you. Okay, and here's our look all complete. I kind of love it. I feel like it's a really pretty twist on a softer fall makeup with a bit of a bolder lip. Again, there's so much variation and so much you could do kind of playing with this concept to tone it down, amp it up even more, whatever. Wherever you want to put the emphasis. If you wanted to keep the lips softer, the eyes softer, didn't go with the lashes, and then really play up the blush. I mean, endless possibilities here. Endless. Absolutely endless. Not really, but, you know, it's something you can tailor to your taste very easily in your comfort levels with makeup. You could even use Walk in No Shame as your blush. I've done that before. It's beautiful on the cheeks. But you don't have to have Walk in No Shame. You could use any just kind of pretty color in this family. Get the vibe. And a brown lip liner. That's really the key to it. And yeah, you don't even have to do anything to your eyes if you didn't want to. Just some mascara. Head out the door. It's all up to you, girl. It is up to you. But that is the look complete. Thank you for hanging out with me today. If you guessed the Lana Del Rey song that is in my head. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'll just will tell you, thumbs up in the comments. Yay, go you. You have, your mind is in the gutter with me. That's what she said. All right, and yeah, that's all for today. I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye now.